girl, if you're a black 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 girl, do your thing.
Ooh, girl, have you heard? What? Oh my gosh. Let's talk about it. Now let's get chatty. Let's talk about it.
The Supreme Court nominee, we're talking about the Honorable Jackson. I don't want to say her first name. I don't want to butcher it, but any of y'all want to try to say her name? I don't want to butcher her first name. Go ahead. Ketanji Jackson? Yeah. But her face is right there. You see it. That's what we're talking about. Her right here. We're going to...
I just read something that where somebody said pronounce her name, like give your kids names that can be pronounced correctly. And it's like totally insensitive. Because it is a name that you're going to remember, right? Like once you get the name, it's like a name that it's a name that stands on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. I just think that across the board in this moment, as we've been watching this process of her going through what they all have to go through when you're nominated, but could we say that they're kind of strong-arming her maybe a little more than they've done anyone else? And is that the sentiment of black women, I feel like, across the world, where you go into certain spaces? We were having a brief discussion earlier, and Dolores had said something about she's more educated. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and say what you said.
I was saying that she's more educated than she has more. I was accolades. I'm gonna say accolades, but she's more educated than the rest of the other people that are already on the Supreme Court.
So I wonder, when you go in certain realms and arenas as a colored woman, do you already have a sense of knowing I need to be better? I need to bring more credentials to the table. I need to have more stripes on my back. You know, does that make sense? Do you kind of go in knowing that? Because I've been interviewing lately, and I just feel like I have to just be 10 times better because of certain arenas I'm going into, and I have to say certain things. So I wonder, I'm sure we feel that across the board. If you've been in any sector where you're the dominant, you're the only black girl in the room, you're the only black person in the room, and you feel out of place. But not only, one thing I can admire, I don't want to do all the talking here, but one thing I can admire is that she's a dark-skinned woman. She's a dark-skinned girl.
And she's repping for the African American community too. Even down to her hair. She has a beautiful smile too. See, gorgeous. Her hair's white. She has what, sister locks?
I think it's sister locks or something like that. They're beautiful, and I feel like she hasn't had to, get straight hair, get a perm, cut it really, really short, try to look like a man, or camouflage. But she's like, this is who I am. This is my culture. This is my skin.
So I was watching the hearing, and what I did not like, because I feel like when it comes to people, sometimes you can achieve something so great, but even in your great achievement, you're almost shunned, or people discredit you, or people look at you less. So the process of how they were questioning her, their tone with her, it was just very harsh to me. And I was watching it, and I was like, oh, this is a little disrespectful. Like, it wasn't respectful at all. It was almost trying to catch her in her. I mean, that's a part of the process, but to me, it just seemed a little disrespectful. Interrupting her and stuff.
That's
Are you gonna let her answer? Come on. And she was just sitting there like this. Are you gonna, Ted Cruz is like, are you gonna let her answer, talking to somebody? Let her answer. It was like, oh my goodness.
But that's felt across the nation for a lot of women and people, where you have to put on a smile. You have to put it on, and no matter how you feel inside, save face. No matter how you feel inside, don't show your true colors. Don't show them. Because then you'll be that angry black woman. You'll fall into that And then I read something that it said, this is the language of, I want to pull it up because I don't want to misquote it, but you're going to say something, Lillian? I don't want to say it wrong.
No, I was gonna say, if you ask a question, allow a person to answer the question. Because if you're interrupting, it means you want, and you're not getting the answer that you really want.
Got you.
But you're not allowing the person to answer the question.
I think she answered her question so wisely.
It's good to have pressure, though. It is good. It's good to see someone handle themselves under pressure. So it's like, you saw it as kind of like rude, but it was good to see someone answer questions under pressure, or not under pressure, but
Under scrutiny?
Well, you know, answer questions, but seem to be aggressive, but you're able to handle and conduct yourself in a certain manner.
That, you know, this is what, okay, so I'm gonna read this. Every sigh, every time her jaw tightens, every time her eyebrow raises a certain way, said Jazzy McGilbert, 33, the owner and founder of Repartance Club, a concept bookstore and creative space in Los Angeles, says every black woman speaks that language. Like, you know, somebody says something, you're just like, you know,
Boys.
yeah, you're like, I'm talking back to you, but I'm not using my words. But it's in that eyebrow raise. It's in that chain tilt of my head.
I was watching you the moments where she shed tears. It was, of course, moments of her talking about when she was in school, connecting, being able to connect with, I want to say Padilla, but I don't want to mess nobody's name.
Girl, you better look it up.
But it was them connecting with her, basically saying that they understand like her position, like you're what is it called? What are we? Minorities. You're a minority. I'm a minority. Hispanic people, because they go through stuff as well, so they can understand and relate. So I really appreciated that. Even the African American guy that was talking to her as well, he was talking about how he was proud. He wasn't gonna let anybody in the Senate steal his joy. Kind of, I feel like it was the message to her as well. Like, hey, I'm not gonna let steal my joy. Like, hey, like basically, you want to be strong in this.
That was a great insertion, because I feel like he strategically said that to boost her, give her like a punch, like, you know, like, get it, you got this, girl, kind of thing.
And the way he was talking to her too, he was very like inspirational, upbeat. Like that was
And you know, man, that I think that speaks to the coding that we've had since slavery. The way we would speak to each other, you know, what's that song they used to sing when it was time to go, they were gonna run,
I think it was different songs.
Oh, it was so many songs, but it was a form of communication. You did it with wisdom, and you did it with, and nobody knew like this language that they had, but it came through a different way, and I just felt like that was a moment. I could get emotional. It was a moment of communicating without saying directly like, yeah. It was just like, take this moment, honey, like get it, like, oh, I just grab it, man. Okay, moving on.
Man, so she will be the first African American Supreme Court judge, if she's successful with the hearing, correct?
Yeah.
First African American
Woman.
Oh, African American woman. I'm so sorry. But I think that's even, you know, a lot of people say they don't, successful people now, like even in film writing, they say they didn't have a lot of African American people to look up to on the screen that played certain roles. So I think just her being in that position, if she was to get there, like how our children will be able to look
This
up
next generation,
to this,
2-3 generations.
to look up to this, knowing that hey, someone's there on the Supreme Court as a judge. Like, hey, I may be an attorney or studying to go to school or this, but that could be my end goal, and that could also be my destination as well. I think she would play a very inspiring role to the community.
For sure. And then I think it's important for us to see ourselves in certain fields, on certain screens, because it lets you know it's possible that someone, that's a trailblazer, right? Someone has blazed this trail for you. That movie Encanto, have y'all seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's basically pretty much, I think it's like the Hispanic culture mostly, but they are like they kind of Afro. I don't know. They kind of look like African American people.
So it's probably like Latino or Puerto Rican or maybe
Something.
or maybe Dominican Republic.
I seen a picture one time where a little boy stood by the TV. His mom took a picture, and the little boy looked like the character in the movie, hair and all. It's just like it's so important for us to show, for them to see themselves. Like, you're not a weirdo.
I think also too is you don't want to forget that there are many Black women that are pushing themselves further in education.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just being in Texas and going towards Dallas, the Dallas direction, I mean, it was billboard after billboard of different nominees, people that were going for these high seats in court, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was telling one of my sisters before, I said, Fairview, Texas, I believe I seen the city right. Fairview, Texas.
Fairview. Mm-hmm.
It sits up high for successful Black women. Like the percentile is really high. So it just speaks that women are pushing themselves in education further to get to these places. Because she had to come to get to this place. So
that's good. Ted Cruz is like, we went to graduate school together. So he even remembering her.
Oh wow.
I mean, she stood out somehow. I love it.
Shout out to anybody going to HBCU. Girl, keep getting it, keep grinding. Boy, keep going to class, keep showing up, because you matter, and like what you're doing and what you're going to do is going to blaze a trail for a generation that hasn't even been born yet. And I think sometimes when we look at what hasn't developed yet, going into certain realm or atmospheres or certain job careers, think about there's a whole generation that has not been born yet. What are you doing? It's like to blaze a trail, to leave a mental or physical footprint for somebody to follow behind you. These are the steps. These are the necessary steps to get here. I was talking to my mom, and I was like, talking about leaving trails of integrity. Leaving trails of integrity, like you gotta be intentional. Nowadays everybody's hopping on everything and they recording everything. You just leave trails of integrity. You never know where you're gonna end up, where you're going to sit, who's gonna want to deep dive and investigate your life and bring up everything that's even irrelevant, like they were doing her. It made no sense. I mean, a lot of conspiracy theory, I don't know how to feel about it.
And also, you may have a child that could be possibly just sitting in the other room and they have so much potential. Because the mother could be sowing those seeds necessary to just have your child move into that direction. It's sitting in them, and they're sitting in the other room.
Say that with passion.
It's sitting in them, and you're the one to help ignite that in them. To encourage them, to push them.
That's deep.
Say this to yourself: I was born for greatness. I was destined for this. No, but for real, you're born for this. This is what you're created for.
As you can see her attire, she's ready to fly.
She's got her wings.
Obstacles, right?
Come on now.
Obstacles.
Soaring over it.
Pressing towards our goals.
Yeah,
You can't be defeated. I think a determined person can never be defeated.
Never. Because that's contradicting if you are. You're determined. We used to sing this song. I can't remember. They would say, I'm determined to what? Where? Where you going with? All the way. Don't start something and don't finish it. If you're going to pick it up, you better pick it up and see it all the way through the end.
Run with it.
Run with it, like she said. Don't drop the baton. Yes, man, if you got a child, if you have a daughter, a son, a niece, a nephew, and you see a little spark of something, sometimes it's just a little bit of something, and all it takes is the support of somebody else. And support Could be like picking up that phone calling, hey, I bought you a pen and piece of paper. I see you like to draw. I bought you books. I see you love to read. I want to take you to the opera. I want to take you to see this play. Here's your first camera. Here's your first tablet. Here's your stylus. Draw. That's support. Having someone to say, I see you. I hear you. That's support. I'm listening to you. That's support. Y'all gonna get me excited up in hot. But you know, you don't start something and not finish. You know, I went back to school and somebody said something. I probably talked about this before. It got down to the grapevine. They said, oh, she never finishes. I was like, oh, well, just for that, I finished and I got that degree. Yes, I did. It was years ago, but I finished. It propelled me. It ignited me to finish because they said that comment, and I was like, well, I'm gonna show you. And I pushed through, and I didn't have to. But that was support, you know. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and you know what to do. Tell me what to do.
Comment, like, and subscribe and hit that notification bell as well.
Subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, y'all. Follow us on Instagram. We'll drop those links below. If you want to collab with us, we're open for that. You know, we like clothes, so if you want to give us some clothes, send us some clothes. You want us to review them. We love jewelry. We love a lot of things. We have our collab information in the deets below.
Right?
Peace. Bye. Do it.